long time. I guess, right. Let's just wait a bit, see if everything starts up good. Yeah, looks good. Excellent. Excellent. I wonder if I can adjust the... Yes. There we go. As it's going. Okay. Let's just give this a few seconds to properly start up, then we'll get going. Excellent. Get going. Okay. We are ready. So, today I'm going to be doing some coding. Something not always expect from me. Just going to use this one. Let's download that. Awesome. Okay, let's find it. I'm going to put it over here. Use this package first. Okay. Excellent. So, what you're seeing here is a language called FC1, which stands for Framework Command 1. It is a programming language developed by yours truly, and it is designed to be a all-in-one package community language. However, this is not the language I am going to be distributing much. It is going to be fully downloadable, may even be open source, but for now it is going to remain the framework of the next language I'm going to be releasing. Let's see what I don't need. Okay. I think, yeah, we'll just go with this. So there's some code in here already. Okay, we'll get rid of that, we don't need it. This active file here. Okay. So let's just try a few things, shall we? So I don't need lib these or that. I'm going to make a new one. It's going to be called lib, and we're going to work on that one. Okay. So, hello, Conjure Howdy here from lumpology.com, and welcome back. Today we're going to be developing a programming language using the FC1 framework language. This is a nice little tool that we're going to be using. It's got it's still in development. It's got Freelot built in, and also we'll be getting probably OpenAL in as well. It's it's a nice little package, and I am excited to show it off today. So, I'm also going to be demonstrating a few of the abilities of said language, and yeah, should be fun to show off. So, first of all, let's look at the docs. Okay. So, as we're developing a language, we're going to need a few little pieces of, we're going to need a few things. So I'm going to create variables starting off using the allocate command. And I'm just going to set aside some ints, some 64-bit ints, some strings, and yeah, I'll go with all the types. So we're going to need, maybe I don't need to set these. I'm going to need a string for sure. So I'll get rid of the 64-bit. We'll get an int because we need that. Definitely need 2 ints, and we're going to need a chart. 1 chart for starters. This will be expandable with threading. And then, what else have we got? That'll do. So what do we got here? This is code I'm showing off. We're entering a string called variable. Then using this plus symbol, we're calling a command called allocate. Then we have these, this is calling a subcommand to call an integer type. This is a string type, this is a chart type, and this is a return statement. Then we're balancing that with a pair of numbers, 1 chart, 1 string, 2 ints, and these are just ints that are being allocated into RAM. This is part of the dynamic memory system built into FC1. There is more to the dynamic memory system. First of all, I can in fact call the number of strings I want to make using an int. I can also expand each one. So if one already exists, if there's already a string, I can say there's a string here, and then say string again, and then say expand 1, and then we'll have 2 strings. And this is how the dynamic memory system works. It's quite well orchestrated, if you ask me. So we have this little chunk of code here, and this it may seem kind of low level, but that's fine. Tab white spaces and spaces are not recognized. However, the enter line, the gap lines are, for the most part. I don't recommend using them in subsystems. But after this, we're going to set up a storage. So we're going to store the first of our ints, store int 0. The way it works is you allocate this number, and then we go down from there. So 1 is 0, 1 is 0, 2 is 1. So I'm going to take 0, and 0 int is going to be equal to, oh, we do not register negatives. That is undefined behavior. So 0 int is going to be equal to, so we've called the number int 0. There are no names in FC1, so you don't allocate a name. You allocate and it gets a number. So we're going to store in integer 0 a value of 0, because we have not an integer 0. So I'm just going to make a new little thing here. Int 0. Int 0 is the line tracker. We'll go with that. Int 0 is the line tracker. Memory list. Just save that into our project. So then we're going to need a script. So I'm going to create another new file. And this new file, I'm going to save it automatically. Save as. And we're going to give it our script type. And so we're going to call it main.ines. Yeah, we'll go with that. So we've got this here. So next we're going to have to leave the storage space. Or maybe I should underscore int 1 and store the variable of I should explain more of this actually. Yeah, this is good. Int1 is going to be set as, what is it supposed to track again? I don't remember. We're just gonna hold that int accountable for a bit. So I don't need this anymore, so I'm going to leave the stream by calling the variable letter, then the stream operator. Next I'm going to call upon my documentation on a different monitor here. Different device, I should say. Because I believe it is in the external stream that I need to go next. External. Where is it? Void external stream. There, yeah. So external file. Okay, so we have plus file, and now we're going to open, and then external open file means we have to select the control pointer. So there's two variables. Okay, I see what we've got. So eventually, we're going to select file 0, and then we're going to name it main.ines. Then we're back to that subset. So we haven't exited file yet. We're still inside the stream that we called open in. So we're going to we're going to hit underscore ret and leave it. So, and then leave the external stream. So now we've got this chain here. So this seems like a bit much for a script. See, it's fairly disorganized. So we're going to actually split these up into other scripts. So we're going to have the register dot fc1. Oops, added a 2 there. Register.fc1. Then, so we have active.fc1, which is the main. Then we've got register.fc1. And we're going to also have an index.fc1. Okay, let's work with that. I'm not going to call lib in this case. I'm not going to call a library in this case. I'm just going to register them as file scripts. So I'm going to take this block here, and I'm going to move it I'm going to move it into register.fc1. It registers the file name here. By doing that, I'm going to have, let's see, so yeah, I'm going to call this 3 tildes, and I'm going to call the register. So I don't include the extension because it automatically looks for the extension when I say register. If I want to include a folder, I just say like the name of the folder, and then put a slash. And that works. So this is a channel swap. A channel swap changes the current script. It's called a channel swap because it has to mess with the thread architecture to invoke the new script. So that's because the program is running. It's already been compiled, and it needs to swap architectures to access the new script. So yeah. So I should mention this is a pseudo-interpreted language. There's an interpreted component. That's the component we're going to be using. There's also a compiled component, and that is a component you can use. I'll get into that one in a bit. It's a library, the compiled component, but mainly we use the interpreted component because it is the on-access available one. Error checking in FC1 doesn't really exist in both the compiled and the main register. You kind of have to do that on your own. So we've tossed ourselves into this script and invoked these. This is a safe register. You have to be careful when invoking registers, when swapping scripts, because you need to make sure, because you can also call this command inside of the variable stream, in which case I'd have to exit the variable stream for the next script to work. But because I left it, it's fine to call the register and move directly to a new. So now that we have the register, I'm going to invoke a new register, and I'm going to use index, and I'm going to hop over to index. Now, it should be noted that if I had another file here named index, but it was named index.txt, it would still choose index.fc1 versus the txt because it looks for the .fc1 extension. For any of you wondering how I show the extensions, there's a little thing, a little column here in your Windows called hidden items and name extensions. I like to check these both because I can see more. Anyways, so we have index. So now we're going to call index.fc1. So we're going to invoke things active. We're going to use active as the main component to allocate initial resources. Then we're going to use register to as the register of the main file type. Register will be useful to people who want to use the language because they could edit this line here and change the default file type. Okay, so one thing we can also implement thanks to this language is if we reopen a file type, we can actually edit code while the program is running. So this is going to be an important little script as we expand it continuously. And then the main code, the code that we're developing, will be written in main.ines until we are complete. So, index.fc1. let's take a look at index.fc1. Okay. What are we gonna write? So here, one thing we can do actually is comment the code. One thing I actually recommend is commenting the code. Edit the file name to change main call. I don't know, something like that. We're gonna hop back to active, and I'm just wanting to add to the storage briefly. I want to call the string we allocated string 0. And I want to set string 0 to equal. I want it to equal null. Null is not, I should specify, null is not a type. It may end up being a type someday, however for nowadays it is not a type. So null is an actual null in the string variable. If I was to output this now, I'd get the word null rather than nothing. I can store nothing by just simply putting nothing in the variable, but I'm not going to. I want something in there ahead of time. Okay, so index, we got all these. Should be noted, I also cannot pass other variable types in here. There's another library for that. Okay, so we're in index. We've changed all that. Index, we're gonna create our loop. So we are going to need the following. I have to check the documentation quickly. So many variables. So we need to create a function loop of some form or another that we can invoke stuff in. So I'm going to start with a assignment point. This assignment point is going to be called assignment point index. And we're going to use assignment point index to check everything. So then there's going to be a invisible line here. This invisible line needs to have something in it so it doesn't break the index. This invisible line is going to have the reverse assignment point on it. This first reverse, actually we're going to have two of them in a row. There's a special object type that we use to go back to assignment points like this one. Assignment points like this one here invokes a point that we can access at any time, called, in this case we're naming it index. So I'm actually going to call it index stream to differentiate it from index.fc1. So we have these two reverse assignment points here. And the first one is going to be ignored when we call back to this one. So we need something, but the stream recognizes this the first time we pass through. So we need a variable that's neutral. In this case, this is a neutral variable. The next line is a is also a neutral variable for the main stream, but when we call back to this assignment point, it's not neutral anymore because it is a reverse assignment point. So as soon as we call main assignment point, this becomes the equivalent of a return statement. Bear with me, I know it's a little complex. So that's the reason it exists. It's neutral in the mainstream, but if we had a ret here, it would not be neutral, and this ret would be read over the first time and we'd get an error because it's not recognized by the mainstream. So we put a reverse assignment point, which is recognized by the mainstream. Okay, let's continue. So we have index stream, and now we're going to need some way to read the first line of main.ines, which is going to be the script space for our coding language. So, just hopping back to the documentation quickly, we need to find the perfect command to do this. So I'm guessing it's going to be a control function, and it's going to be inspect, the inspect control function. But I have to confirm this with the documentation first, because I don't want undefined behavior. When using FC1, you have to be very careful about undefined behavior, because you're actually accessing low-level memory when you use it. So if you do something wrong in FC1 and you damage a register, you can crash your operating system, and I don't want to crash the operating system, especially during a live stream. So, yeah, that's the deal when working with FC1. Because it is a low-level language, you have to end correctly. You don't... Yeah, we'll just leave it at that for now. So yeah, it looks like inspect is the actual... Okay, so what I'm going to write here is this star. So we're going to access a new stream. Don't worry, we don't have to do anything with this. This assignment point is fine. We can leave it alone. So we're going to do this. We're going to go to the control stream, C for control, and then we're going to go inspect. This is a new library that we're going to show off. I'm going to, once again, go to the documentation, and we're going to go inspect. No, it would be control underscore inspect. There's a lot of documentation, which will be available soon at the Google Doc, where you can get the language. Anyways, so inspect is going to be... Yeah, we're going to use underscore line. There was another inspect called parse, but parse is complicated. So we're not going to use parse. We're going to use line. Line directly takes a line and assigns it to a string variable type. Okay, so we need... Ooh, what's this? We need 3 different variables. What for, I might ask? What for do we need 3 variables? We need the chart. We need the string. Oh yes, just 2, my bad. There are just 2 variables. We need the name of the chart, which is 0, and we need to assign it to the line that we have just read to a string. We don't have to write the underscore string type. We just have to put the number that the string will be registered on, so 0. So this is the chart we called in the register right here. This is the one. We created this chart right here. The chart was created, then we opened a file, this file, inside chart 0, which we are now going to read using the inspect line command. And this is the name, right here, 0. Then we needed to assign it to a string, so in active.fc1 we have a string right here. We allocated 1 string. That gave us slot 0. Slot 0 was then assigned to line, what am I saying? Then we set null to slot 0, even though it's 1. I explained it previously. But in line, we have 0, and then we put it to the string. So we've got all that, cleared all that out of the way. So now we've got to leave this register. So we can use return to leave the current focus. Then we're going to invoke an if statement. So, okay, so we've left inspect, so now I'm going to say plus if, because we're still in the control stream. We can still access the if statements that are available to us. So if, and then we are going to find an if statement. I think I know the if statement functionality. If underscore string, yep, I believe that it is. If underscore string 0 is equal to, so I'm actually going to just hop into the control stream again. Oh, there's so much stuff in the if stream. Okay. Control underscore if. Yes, there it is. if, oh, I was wrong. There's if var string. Yes, that looks better. If var string 0, and then we get to reference it. This is going to be fun. Yep, okay, I get it. If var 0 is equal to the stream of, and now we get to create our first command. So, how are we going to do this? We're going to say stream is, I don't know, what would we say? If the first string is equal to the stream name of test, because we're just, we're working with test. So I'm going to just add test to the first line of our main file, and then just work with it here. So if that, then, oh boy, now I have to go through this process again. So if variable is equal to if string 0 is equal to stream, we have stream, so then stream says if true, do this. Okay, so then I'm going to hop back up here. So, one second, now I'm just in the documentation reviewing the complicated if statement that exists. Okay, so if true, we say, there's a new line, and we're just going to say go to. If true, go to. That's what I say, haha. Okay, so under here, we're going to add a new assignment point. And we're just going to say, we're going to call it test stream. And it's going to, once again, have the same file layout as the one above. So if test stream, then so test stream. So go to test stream. This is not like C++ go to, I should mind and say. Go to in FC1 is a very different, much more secure go to statement. It is much better at what it does, I say. So test stream is going to operate as such. So I'm actually going to input some stuff into test stream. So this exited that, so then I'm going to exit the control stream in test stream, and I'm going to say I, and we're going to say in the I stream, input stream. No, if I say. If I is equal, no, what am I saying? Okay, input plus output, which doesn't sound, which is different from what it looks like, but we're going to call output, and we're going to say, I'm going to output the line in test stream. Nice. Then I'm going to leave leave output, and I'm going to leave input in dusk, and then we're going to call a new script, and this script is going to be another script. This script is going to be this script, and it is going to be ending.fc1. Yes, it is. Call new script ending.fc1, I say. Ending.fc1 is a ending. Just going to call ending. Ending.fc1 is going to do the following. It's going to de-evoke all possible streams using this nifty universal exit strategy, which can be replaced for this thing or this thing. This thing, however, is a universal exit strategy. So, universal exit strategy. Go around all your issues. You'll never encounter anything. Anyways, this universal exit strategy is going to terminate all libraries. Then we're going to hit this symbol. Nope, we're going to hit Oh, I'm so bad at this. No, reserve stream. I'm gonna go to the reserve stream. Reserve. All reserve commands only be called once, so it's one of the slowest streams. Plus terminate underscore debug. And this is all the code we need. Technically, I don't even need this line. Just this. Okay. Okay. So we need to set up the what if not statement, because this is not recognized here, I do say. So go to, then there should be an else statement. I'm like 90% sure there's an else statement. It skips the first two, then yep, there is an else statement. I was right. Else underscore, there's a few things there. Underscore return. No, underscore return. Which will be followed by, I'm just going to break all that, which is going to break us back to here, which I'm going to say underscore return again. Because that's going to break us out of the S. Oh, so much stuff. Then I'm going to say, then I'm going to leave the control stream. And I'm going to then plus output. And I'm going to say line error, no, syntax error. I'm just going to leave it at that. I will make a more in-depth syntax error later on. Then I'm going to call a function. Oh my god. Plus syntax error. Call function. Function is called tap. Tap has a system function. System function calls pause. System function leaves. Then system function, I'll just do this quick. F leave, then question mark leave. Okay, now we've terminated the program. The unsafe way, we'll just leave it unsafe way. Okay, so much code. Okay. So we've got all this. Now, okay, so we should just like run this, just see what happens. It'll be fun. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Who knows? Yeah, we're gonna do that. So we've got all of this code. Now, for the first time ever, I'm gonna actually show you that this language works. Wonderful. So FC1. Syntax. Oh, syntax error. Yay. Okay, so we got output. So we've got like functionality, so to speak. But it's a syntax error, so we know we did something wrong. In theory, allegedly. But so let's take a look. So it wants to see the stream test. This exact stream, and we happen to have test in the first line. So we know something's a little off about this whole situation. So we've clearly done something wrong, because it should have gone to this stream right here and given us a debug ending rather than a error ending. So go to test. Else. Okay, so we've invoked this. Otherwise stream. So stream. Alternatively, I could have called another string, but I'm not going to call another string. I'm going to call this stream. So underscore stream. Got that. I really need to finish the IDE. This is not fun. Test. So string test. Then go to statement. After that, this. If it's correct, we're gonna do that. So let's take a look. Go. If true. If true provides us two statements: the skip option and the go to option. Skip option is not defined. Oh, that's not good. Go to option is the only defined option. That's not good either. Okay. So rather than an else statement, maybe. Oh, I see what was wrong. So rather than an else statement right here, I'm going to use a return statement. I'm just going to remove it altogether and use a return statement. How nice. Yeah, we're going to try that. That sounds like a wonderful option. Syntax error. Oh, I'm loving this. Okay, so. Maybe I need to reset the file. I didn't when I started, did I? Anyways. Maybe here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna before all of this, we're gonna just say after we read the file for the first time, we're going to we read the file right here, and then so instead of this, I'm just going to leave the program, and we're going to enter the input stream, and we're going to just say output underscore variable underscore string 0 underscore return. Nope, we don't need that. Underscore break underscore return this. Not to make the script any longer or anything. Okay, so FC1 null. So we know what went wrong. This failed. This little script here failed. It didn't apply the correct measure to the correct measure. So it's because our string is still equal to null. The null we defined right here. So this inspect line didn't inspect the line. It inspected something, but it wasn't a line. And it wasn't the line of this file. So let's think about this. Okay. Inspect. So Control F. Say this. Control inspect. So control inspect is a inspect. Okay. Instead of this stuff, I'm going to call. Well, instead of all of this stuff, I'm going to call R plus terminate. And I'm going to call the termination. Call for the termination on a debug state. This will give us information from the processor. Okay, we got information from the processor. Known threads 1, good. Duplication 0, errors 0. Last process was a debug statement. Last line was 41, so we know it ended with it. We're still in index.fc1. The active script is active.fc1. That doesn't look... No, that looks correct, actually. We'd have to use a library for that. No, that would be... Because that looks wrong, but I think that's a bug. It wasn't anything else. Okay, so... I love how fast everything goes. So what if we asked if the string was a null value? This might sound weird, but you know, it's worth a shot. We can at least check if our library works. Okay, so if it's a null value, everything works perfectly. So we just have to figure out the line. So we're just going to put this back to test and figure out why it's not reading anything. So if we go to line, if we check the documentation, we've got two options. We're looking for a string pointer and a control pointer. String pointer is used, and the control pointer then used to chart pointer, are used to determine the next line of the string. The string is then broken. Broken since back to the string where the ret is called. So that should be. Let's go back here. So the inspect is called. The inspect calls the line. The line calls the variable. The variable calls the variable calls the next variable. The variable calls the variable finished reading, then calls the ret. The ret calls the string, the string the input calls the var calls the string calls the 0, which should output the correct. So let's see. Okay, so let's go back to this thing. So what if we called chart 1 instead of chart that? Spectron 1, spect 1, 1, 1, 1. Memory list, register, call it on 1. All of these in 1. 1, I say. Okay, so by calling it on 1, we have access to the... I don't know, it crashed. So clearly, good signs, I say. It doesn't like that. It doesn't like that. So, something about registering it on 1 made it incompatible with the sequence. If I called 2 charts instead of 1. 2 are better than 1, I say. We should get the same result. Things don't... Oh, they didn't. It did change, so I was right about the first time. So we have nothing. Nothing. Okay, so what I'm going to do about this nothing is I'm going to reset the register underscore reset 1 that's even worse. Okay, so now I've got it outputting. I wonder if there's a fluctuation in the code that's causing this. I've done this before. It's in the source code, so I don't know. 30 minutes of lumpology dealing with debug errors. Everything goes well. Okay, so I'm going to say something's gone wrong up here. It's not calling inspect because it might be ignoring a line or something. Oh, I know what's wrong. I am so dumb. Okay, here's what's up. There. Is that really what's up? Oh no, it's not really what's up. Okay, so this is actually what we need to put there. Interesting. Anyways, that shouldn't change anything though. Except we have an error now. So that's still that. Were we in a register? No, we're not in a register. Okay. If we called that, we called that, we called that. So that calls that, that. So something's wrong with this sequence here. That's what I've determined. We're definitely getting something from it, because this reset here called perfectly. So external file. Let's look at open for a bit. Open opens a chart. Open has 2 sequences. That... Ooh, I shouldn't have closed that. Anyways, open has 2 sequences. It calls this. Oh! Oh, I see what's wrong. That's a dumb mistake. That goes first. This goes second. Wow, would you look at that? We were looking for a file called number 1. Okay, so yeah, okay, that makes sense. Okay. That was easy. Better than I thought. Syntax error. I'm gonna re-input these. system pause. Pause gets returned. Close the function with a bang. You're missing an I. No? Let's see what I've got, actually. No, that looks good. L. No, I'm not using an L. I'm using an I believe. Yeah. Sorry, you might not be able to see it. Yeah, it's good. But, yes, the order is wrong inside of this. So, this line goes first, that goes second, but now let's check out the following. Got this, look at this. Oh, that's fine. Okay, so let's run this. See what happens if I run it. So yeah, we got test, we got all the don't worry about it. Anyways, this works. We've got an entire functioning. There's no errors, and we have a basic working script. So now we get to expand on it because we have a working structure. We officially have a programming language structure. It's functional and somewhat. Anyways, so we've called this, and we get an ending. This is good. So we're going to add our ending. Yeah, actually, okay. So let's move on. I'm going to leave this little command in here for now. It may be useful to us later on. So then I'm going to remove this input function here because it is annoying me, along with this one. Okay. Let's see. That's all good. That's all good. That's good. Oh, stream's not doing too well. Yeah, well, we'll continue. Anyways, let's continue on. Zeros there, zeros there, that. Okay, so as we continue, the output here got that output, that line, and that error. So we need a continuation of this if statement. So rather than a return statement here, we're going to set up an else if and an if. So I'm going to hop back up to a point where I can find this. I'm going to say, I'm going to check the documentation in the if position of control if. So yes, so there's a variable, then there's an else and an else if statement. Oh, that's actually a lot easier than I thought. So I actually don't have to use this ret here. This if the exact same thing would be to type elif. If I type elif, it is the exact same thing as calling a ret in this position. Alternatively, I can say else if, but I'm going to call it elif because it's a little shorter. So elif, then I'm going to say go to else. Oh, I see. It's an else if because else if var, and the same string can then repeat again. So I'm going to take all of this. Copy it, and then I'm going to paste it again underneath. So then we have 0 equals stream, same test, this stream, this, else if, and I'm going to say ret. So this is going to be an error, the final, and this is going to be in between. So, got 2 of them, and this is really hard to look at. I'm exporting my IDE now rather than later, because this is really tough to look at. FC1 0.0.7-q. I'm going to export this all to a nice desktop. Sorry, I'm on a different computer right now, so it's a little tough to see, but I'm actually exporting the IDE to make the colors a little nicer to look at. 7-q. So the latest build is 0.0.7-q. I can explain the naming scheme and it will show up a little odd in the document. But 0.0.7-q, it means it's the quality release. The -r before it means the release. -q is just a quality version. So I'm going to re-access the Google Drive. Two computers at once is really hard. It's always so much difficult. So, I should just continue. I'll just do it. I'll multitask. I'll do this. So, to explain what is going on, we have two statements going, two equal signs, and so I'm going to set up the next stream. So we have test at the top, and now I'm just going to say output. We're going to have an output, or print. We're just going to call it print. Print, and then we're going to have, print, and then we're going to have a print stream. This is going to then be copied into a new assignment point underneath here. Print stream. Print stream is then going to invoke something. Print stream will then invoke a new statement called this 123, and print stream will then do a print stream. Print stream, yeah, like that. So in this here, we're going to create a new, I think we're going to call a library. Yeah, I should call a library. That would make sense in a statement like this. No, that would make yeah, no, that wouldn't make sense in a statement like this. Never mind. Yeah, no. Yeah, print underscore stream dot fc1. This will go to Notepad++, and it's going to have some stuff in it. It's going to take the next line, so we're going to read a line. We're going to read another line, like this one. And we're going to, like this. Then we're going to return to the stream we were in before, called index. And that'll get us a draw loop. So then, test, rather than test, we're going to say print hello world. We've printed hello world. Then we're going to say, then we're just going to leave it with some random thing, so we can get a nice error, nice juicy error. So we have this script here, and this should call our hello world for us, except it's not going to, because we're going to need an outputter. I plus output underscore var underscore string 0. String 0 is going to be outputted, then I'm going to hit a call a break, and I'm going to return. I'll explain this. Here we go. So output calls the library, variable calls variable type. Alternatively, I can call line or group. Variable type does not need a ret initially. After this, I can directly call line if I wanted to. Break tells the line to end. Whereas line does it automatically, strings can be lined up infinitely next to each other, so we call break to end the line. So this, and go back to the index, this is going to cycle back to here, and where we're going to get an syntax error. So print stream is going to call print stream. Print stream needs some stuff in it, but print stream already has stuff in it. So we should be able to call this right away. Hello world. Syntax error. Continue. We have officially written a hello world statement. How cool is that? So, we need a new, we're going to replace this test stream with a different stream. It's going to be called the end stream. Inside ending, we're going to call f tap underscore system, and then we're going to say pause. I believe it's, let's check this actually. It's pause null. Yes, that's pause null. Null. Then we're going to leave the function stream and call terminate, but we're going to just say terminate clean. There's also terminate unclean, but I don't recommend it because it terminates uncleanly. And what I mean by that, it doesn't unallocate all the variables. The variables we call at the start are direct memory pointer addresses. If we were to leave the program unsafely or uncleanly, all of these would remain in RAM afterwards. Not good. So we have to call the clean way of ending. Alternatively, we can actually call this, but I don't recommend it because this is useful later in life when you use the graphics library. Yes, there is a graphics library built in. It's quite fun. So we have all this. Now we're gonna just edit the index a bit, and we're gonna call, instead of test stream, it's going to be, was ending stream is what I called it. No, it's just end stream. End stream to end the program, and it's going to be, instead of a test, it's going to be called end. I should organize this better. Okay, so all of this is good. So rather than this, so if we go back to our main script, instead of this, say print hello world, end. A very nice, simple program. Oh, oops. I'm going to fix that. And all of that. Bingo. So then we get this. How beautiful is that? Ah, how nice. So, to continue this, we're going to have things like mathematical statements. So I should give a rundown of the libraries briefly, so anyone can continue this at any point. Documentation is coming. It'll be easier for me to release videos regarding every command, but it's a little hard. So to recap, we have a functional hello world statement based in a language we just made on the spot. Now I should probably go over FC1 a bit. FC1 is a framework language with a whole bunch of different command libraries inside of it. These are core system commands that you can use to call OS-specific or non-OS specific indexes. The goal of FC1 is to eventually have a language capable of hosting an operating system. It's being developed by me, and have been a few contributions from one or two other people. If you're interested in the project, contact me at support@lumpology.com, and we can get in touch about working on this language, the framework language called FC1. This I'm releasing the FC1 language publicly and freely without any licenses attached, so that anyone can develop a programming language or program really easily and utilize the functionality of FC1. It's designed to be as dynamic and expandable as possible, so it has dynamic memory as the main memory type. Just stuff like that. Anyways, the libraries that are available are the variable library, the control library, the math library, the function library, the external library, and the channel library, the input library. And I'm also outputting these in the order that they're called. So this is so you can keep speed. Oh, Crystal Music asks in chat, how old are you? Just curious. Haha. I am 16. Yeah. That's the answer to that. Then the thread library comes after that, and then access. Access is a external stream. It's going to allow us to access FreeGlut. FreeGlut is a graphics library that we're going to be using very much throughout all of this. Then we have the assignment point library, which is yeah, this will go, and then we have reserve. Oh, and experimental, and reverse expansion, and comment, and debug point. Yep, that's it. So this is all different functionality that you will find in the language. Debug points are useful. They'll output the current line that you find the debug on, and they'll also output the current thread you are on, because the language supports multi-threading. Yeah, it's just all kinds of stuff you can do with this. Still in development. You may notice the build I'm using is called 0.0.7-Q. Yeah, all kind of stuff. I'm going to continue this project, so I'm going to be streaming more of these. And I'll stream for a little longer, but thank you, Crystal Music. That's really cool. Anyways, so let's continue a bit. We're going to see if we can create a library dedicated to calling system commands. So you know system commands in Windows. It's the command prompt. Linux has its own variant of this, and you can do things like echo hello world. And stuff like that inside this command prompt. So we're going to create a library in this language that handles that. Crystal Music asks, do you have any other projects you're working on? Oh yes, I do. Should I mention them publicly? I don't know. Yeah, I have 3 programming languages, actually. This isn't the first one I've ever made. FC1 is the 3rd. I've made 3. There are 2 that come before it. They're different. They're not public. Well, they're somewhat public. Anyways. I also I have a piece of software called Videology that does it's a video processor that handles that converts 2D videos to 3D. It'll be public sometime by the end of the year. That's currently what else I'm working on. I have a few others, not disclosing them currently. Anyways, so let's continue. Where is this? We have found the LF here. Yeah, LF right down to here. Variable. Okay, so right before here, we're going to call this, and we're going to say if string is equal, instead of end, we're going to use, we're going to say, instead of end, we're going to say, oh, what am I going to say? System. We're going to say system, and we're going to say there's going to be a system stream. And the reason I'm just continuing this is to show off some of the functionality that you'll have. Don't worry about it, Crystal Music. I like to engage the so-called fan base. It's yeah. Working is fun. Who doesn't like working? 2, 3. Then we're going to call. What are we gonna call after this? I don't know. What should we do? Oh yeah, we're just. What am I saying? System stream. I spend way too long at this stuff. So let's see. System underscore stream dot fc1, which is going to export to this lovely new script we have here. System is going to then, because we've channel swapped, I do recall we've got a new, yep, we exited that, so system. So now we're going to do something that you might not expect. We're going to take the first few lines from the print stream, right up until here. Take these, and then we're going to do something with them that you might not expect. So we're going to call function, and we're going to say underscore tap, plus tap underscore system, and then we're going to say underscore string, and we're going to say 0. So what we've just done is we've invoked string 0, and we're going to use string 0 in the space of the system. Oh, this is going to be so cool. After this return statement here, we're going to leave function and then return to the index. So now that the index is back, so this is now our new setup. So we're going to hop back to the index and just double check everything, because we don't want errors. We want everything to work on the first time. Okay, so we're going to go back to the main script. Before end, we're going to say print hello world, and then we're going to say, actually we're going to say it like this. We're going to say print before, then system echo after. Echo after, then end. After this, I'm going to run this before after. So I've used 2 different languages in the space of this one. Okay, question going from Crystal Music. Since I am a very curious guy, and I do so many things in the field of programming, I'm planning to start a channel to kind of document my progress, but I'm not sure if and how my projects could be. Could be interesting to others. Anyways, you got some tips on growing a tech channel. Huh, I'm not a very good judge of growing a channel. I don't have a very big channel. I've got, yes, 687. I'm not a very good source for this kind of information. I know people who are, but how should I say it? Tips. Don't do what I do. Keep releasing stuff. I release like once every few months. and it's usually a live stream. Put effort into your videos. Don't just record and upload. And add as many tags as possible to your videos because they help a lot. I think my most popular video, like how to make an Android game in Blender, is it's a niche. Basically, it worked because people were interested in the topic at the time. Nowadays, not so much. The view counter on it is very low. But when BGE was still a thing, it was really it was really it was a big deal at the time, posting Android games using Blender. So find a niche market that no one's really in. But if you're growing a tech channel, just keep releasing stuff. It's hard to find motivation to release stuff, but if you keep releasing it, it's completely fine. Oh yes, H7OP Olo says thumbnails are a big part. It's a really big part. So yeah, he's really correct. If you can make a good custom thumbnail, and if you put capital letters in front of all of your video, all of the letters in your video, you'll get noticed more. Yeah, that's the real. Okay, anyways, so continuing on. So we have a basic script here. And it's kind of a simple language if you think about it. Like, if you think about the major languages like Python, have all of this extra extension stuff, but any character that I put on this line here will be outputted. No questions asked. I don't have to use quotes anywhere, and I don't have to worry about those quotes registering or not being registered. Anything on this line is going to output. That's what's so interesting about developing your own language. You notice stuff like this. So, yeah. Stuff to keep in mind. So now that we have all of this, so here's what I'm going to do. All of this code that I've just written. Oh, and I should actually mention, when you download FC1, there's a whole library of source code you can use. A little stuff that in here. Anyways, he also asks, when I keep releasing stuff, would you suggest to make a series or hot topic videos? Thumbnails won't be a problem for me since I work with Illustrator. Yes, series help. I think I said people always want a sequel to a video. And I'm not a very good judge because I have promised many sequels over the life of my channel and never followed through. But people will ask for them, and if you release them, they will watch them. So I think my second most viewed video is the sequel to my most viewed video. Like, if you find something popular, people will want to watch the next version of it. And even if it sparks someone a little interest, sometimes they'll hit the share button, stuff like that. Anyways, I'm gonna release all of the source code for everything I just wrote in the Google Drive, or in a location right now. So, yeah, let's do that. So I'm gonna take all of this code here, and I'm going to send to compress zip folder. That's fine. And we're going to call it language. .zip. I'm just going to put this inside of a Google Drive for anyone to access. It'll be inside the new folder. I'm just going to... So, I'll just show it off here. Inside of the FC1 beta tester program, which is linked in the description below, you're going to find a folder called samples. Samples is going to contain a lot of useful stuff that we write in these live streams. Right there. And this is automatically public, so just check the description, down the doodly-doo, and shall continue. So, let us continue a bit, and I'm going to take this. And I'm going to share it. Sorry, you can't really see what I'm doing, but you can hear my voice, so it helps. And I'm just going to can be downloaded at this. Scripts are available. And with that, I am going to conclude this stream. There will be another one sometime soon. We will continue the development of this fancy new language. Creating a programming language from scratch, only available at Lumpology Studios, the greatest channel for Blender Blender tutorials in the history of the universe. Anyways, in all truth, my name is Gunter Hattie. Thank you for everyone who is watching, and I do appreciate it. And please review over this. All of this is free. Use it everywhere. The license will be covered under Zlib or something, so go for it. Download FC1, program away, have fun. It will be entertaining to see what people can come up with, and I am hopeful that I can continue this as a valid series on my channel. Like, people might be interested in this stuff. I'm switching topics because Blender isn't a big deal much anymore, and I don't use it much anymore. So maybe programming is the next industry. Does anyone want C++ tutorials? Because I can do that. Anyways, see y'all later. My name is Condrati. Bye!